Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Now, I have just recently, and I know I'm late, and at this point, y'all don't want to hear it, but I'm just gonna do it regardless. I just started watching Game of Thrones, guys. Like, I'm late on it. I know y'all probably been talking about it. Y'all, used to all the episodes and everything, and I just watched it, and I watched it to the full entirety. So there's so much, so much. And what I decided that I'm going to do is I can't just talk about all the characters in one video. It's too much. So I'm going to break down like each character video by video, take my time and really reflecting on the parts that I found interesting or that I want to talk about. And child, I don't have no other friends that watch Homegirls, that watch this, series. But I know that a lot of you guys that watch me online or listen to me wherever, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever y'all listen to me, I know that y'all listen and y'all, want to break down and get into what I'm into, right? So I've also been watching Sex and the City, side note, but I haven't fully watched that yet. I'm gonna talk about it later once I watch it. But yes, y'all, I've been watching, and child, I want to talk about these characters, okay? Because it's a lot to say. It's a lot that I gotta get off my chest, okay? And I just gotta get into it, okay? So first and foremost, Robert Baratheon. I want to get into the Rob of it all, okay? Robert Baratheon, okay? Because what? Okay, I'm gonna show y'all a clip and then I'm gonna get into just my mindset, because I really like this man. Just I think he was the most underrated character. He wasn't the best character to me, but he was the most underrated character. He was the character that necessarily I think that had me the most fooled, because early on you just see, I'm gonna show y'all the clip, the heads up, it's coming up, but early on you just see that, hey, he's like really obsessed with Ned Stark's daughter, sister. He's like in love with her or whatever. So I, in my mind, not knowing, like, I didn't read the books or nothing like that, I'm just watching the movie, I thought that these people done had a whole love affair where this man was all internally in love with her and they had a whole relationship, and somebody took her and basically arred her and took her away from him, and he's mourning that. And
what Rhaegar Targaryen did to your sister, the woman I loved. I'll kill every Targaryen I get my hands on. You can't get your hands on this one, can you?
I remember how he was trying to go against the Targaryens, and I was sitting over here like, why is Ned not like backing, like, why? These people killed your sister. Like, what's going on, Starks?
The whore is pregnant. You'll dishonor yourself forever if you do this. Honor? I've got 7 kingdoms to rule. 1 king, 7 kingdoms. Do you think honor keeps them in line? Do you think it's honor that's keeping the peace? It's fear. Do nothing till our enemies are on our shores. You're my counsel. Speak sense to this honorable fool.
What's the issue? That's what I was thinking. Like, me not knowing prior, like I said. So I'm over here like not knowing why, but I found out later on, and then it started making sense why he wasn't going as hard to go against the Targaryens and all of that.
The last 2 riders were Barristan Selmy and Rhaegar Targaryen. When Rhaegar won, everyone cheered for their prince. I remember the girls laughing when he took off his helmet and they saw that silver hair, how handsome he was. Until he rode right past his wife, Lyanna Martell, and all the smiles died. I've never seen so many people so quiet. He rode past his wife, and he lay a crown of winter roses in Lyanna's lap, blue as frost. How many tens of thousands had to die because Rhaegar chose your aunt?
Yes, he chose her. And then he kidnapped her and raped her.
But honestly, I'm like, wait a minute, child. Okay, so this man, whole time, he's over here misleading, have us all thinking that him and Ned's sister, Lyanna, was all in love and they were supposed to be together and they had a whole relationship. At least I thought. A lot of people, if y'all don't know the backstory and y'all haven't seen prior and you just watched the series, early on you gonna be thinking in your mind like, oh, okay, so this is his lost love, somebody took her away and killed her and blah blah blah. So you would understand why he's so passionate and why he could never love another, because he couldn't love like nobody else. And it just was like, okay, the Lannister that we're gonna get into her in a minute, but he couldn't love her. And I'm just like, okay, but come to find out, this is another situation of these N-words. I'm not gonna say the N-word because they don't apply here. These males these bros, these dudes, these guys, these, people with the peen, they are very delusional. They are delulu. They are very delusional. Men are far more delusional than women are, okay? Because whole time, this was all in his head. Like, he was betrothed to marry her and all of that, but she ain't never like him like that. Like, he saw her from the first time he saw her, he was in love and wanted to marry and all of that, but it was never reciprocated. Like, she never really felt like that about him at all. It wasn't like a connection, or like it just wasn't giving that. It just was not giving that. And this man was trying to let it off, be like he was all in love and lies. It didn't even go down like that.
During his teenage years in the Vale, Robert had his first child. He had his bastard daughter, Maya Stone, with a common-born girl. Around this same time, Robert fell in love with Ned's younger sister, Lyanna Stark. He barely knew her, but acted as if he was madly in love. Her father agreed to betroth her to Robert to his excitement. Lyanna wasn't as enthusiastic. She found out about his bastard daughter in the Vale, and knew he wouldn't remain loyal. His future marriage with Cersei proved her to be right.
This man was so delulu, hella delulu, okay? Because he just thought that this woman just loved him, or I don't know, because he loved her, and because that was who he was supposed to marry, and because of his strong, like, friendship with Ned, he just felt like, oh, this girl just had all these feelings for him. Like, if you didn't know the whole story, and you just talked to him, you would be thinking that they was internally in love, and this girl probably gave her life for him type, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying if you only heard, like, one side of the story, this man is definitely gonna have you sitting over here believing like it was just, oh my God, they were in love. There was no way she would have found another or fell in love with another. You just could not see it. Like, he just created these delusions in his head. And this makes me feel like, that's why, you know what I'm saying, his, not son, but hell, I think that's like, even though it's not his biological son, this little boy was raised under his, and, you know what I'm saying, like his care, his mental capacity or whatever. He wasn't gentle. He wasn't kind. I feel like a lot of it is, what is it? Nature versus nurture. So some of it is DNA, but other, like, it's just how you were brought up. And I feel like they did a poor job in raising Jeffrey. That's his name, Jeffrey. And I'm going to break down Jeffrey's character later on. But they definitely did a horrible job raising him. And it shows me like it has to be a disconnect in the home, nature versus nurture. But I feel like he was Delulu, just like Jeffrey, Delulu. And I'm over here like, you really felt like, I don't know, it's the arrogance of being king, I guess, that you just feel like whoever you want, you can get, or whoever you love, you can get. But at this time, it wasn't that. They were just betrothed to each other. It wasn't like whoever you want. So he just felt like, I don't know. And then she was gorgeous, I'm sure. She was beautiful, I'm sure, because they talk about her beauty within the show and everything. So I believe that's what that was. When I see her in the show, she kind of looks like Sansa, so oh my God, I think that's very cute and beautiful how like his sister looks like his daughter, Ned's sister. So I thought that was kind of amazing, the casting when they did that, because in the actual like breakdown, you really see that, hey, when they go back to her younger years or revisit stuff, you really see that, oh my God, like, look at the connection. They look so much alike, right? So I don't know if they made sense to play both characters and whatever, but she really looked like Sansa. So, but that's a whole nother thing. Or in the show, right? She looked like Sansa in the show when they did the whole back, show us what happened back in the day and now and all of that, right? But yeah, this man was the Lulu, and would have people feeling like this woman just really, really cared about him like that and loved him like that, would never betray him. All lies.
They were not married right away, however. We don't know how they met or how much time they spent together, but we know for sure they were together during a tourney at Harrenhal in 281 AC. Robert was his typical self at this huge event, drinking large amounts of alcohol and partaking in some violence. It would be Rhaegar Targaryen to win the tourney joust, and he would name Lyanna Stark his queen of love and beauty. Robert kept his anger to himself, only laughing at the situation, saying he's only paying Lyanna her due. It was Ned and Lyanna's older brother, Brandon Stark, who displayed his rage. Rhaegar had a wife and family of his own, so this was seen as an insult. From all the hints George Martin drops in the books, it's clear there was something between Lyanna and Rhaegar that no one else knew about at the time. A year later, the Starks would travel down south again, this time for Brandon Stark's marriage to Catelyn Tully. Rhaegar and his group of close friends just happened to be horse riding at the same time in the Riverlands. This is when Lyanna would go missing. Everyone believed Rhaegar abducted her with plans to rape her. But no one considered maybe she chose to run away with him. She had always been known for her strong will.
Now y'all see, because back then they could not fathom a woman really making her own decision, or making I think they would even call her a whore, or like, like just promiscuous, if she decided upon herself that's what she was gonna do. If she decided that, hey, I'm in love with somebody else and I want to marry him, you don't got those type of decisions, not at all. And especially somebody you was betrothed to. So everybody just assumed the whole time this girl was like kidnapped and ard, and I believe like that would have happened at that time. Whole time, no, that wasn't even the case. That's not even what happened. Was not betrothed, or you know what I'm saying, doing any of that. The betrothed person, hell, what's his name? Baratheon. Child, I know his name. This whole video is about Robert Baratheon. But yeah, it's just whole time y'all over here making it seem, and if you, like I said, you don't have the backstory, you just gonna, because he say it with, explains it or breaks it down with so much conviction, you just believe it. Whole time there's a whole backstory. This girl was not kidnapped. She was not ours. She willingly went and she was in love with him. But back then she couldn't have said that or nothing, or else she was gonna be a whore or all types of things, and it's just a mess, child, a mess.
Bran Stark immediately rode to King's Landing with some of his companions and demanded justice for his sister. The Mad King instead arrested them all and called their fathers down from the north to speak for their son's actions, while Rhaegar Stark and all the other lords made a long trek to the capital to speak with the Mad King. Lord Rhaegar demanded a trial by combat to set his son free, and the Mad King agreed, but the sick and twisted man chose fire as his champion to fight Rhaegar in his trial. He went further and put a noose around Braddon's neck with a sword just out of reach. Rhaegar was burned alive in his armor, while Braddon strangled himself trying to reach for the sword. The Mad King's cruelty doesn't end there. He ordered Jon Arryn to send the heads of both his wards in case they would want to rebel for what the Targaryens had just done to their loved ones. Jon truly looked at his foster children as his own, so he could never have them killed. Instead, all three rebelled against the crown. The young lords, Ned and Robert, had a difficult task in front of them. They had to make their way to their castles so they could call on their bannermen to challenge the Targaryens, with loyalists all around them. Even in the Vale, some remained loyal to the Mad King. House Grafton, who ruled over the Vale's largest city and main port, was one of these loyalists. Robert fought his first battle here. It would be known as the taking of Gulltown.
So if you really sit back and think about this, all of this mess started from a delusional man. Like, for real, it all goes down to a delusional man.
He was good.
He was very good. Viserys never told you.
He told me Rhaegar was good at killing people.
Rhaegar never liked killing. He loved singing.
And what did you do with the money?
Well, one time he gave it to the next minstrel down the street. One time he gave it to an orphanage in Flea Bottom. One time we got horribly drunk.
Robert, he was delusional, delulu, or whatever, because he started doing all the other stuff that happened with taking, y'all already know, because if y'all seen the show, you already know him taking different castles and them fighting and the road to him being king, all based on a lie. All based on that you thought that they took this girl and people were, taking advantage of her whole time. That's not what happened. She went on and it had a whole little situation to where she was in love with this man and they had a baby, and like, that's Jon Snow. So I'm sitting over here like, this man was the most, like, the character that got everybody fooled, okay? If you just watch the series, not talking about the book, you would have never saw this coming. It's like listening to one side of the story. When you listen and you hear it just from his perspective, he really believed in his mind that he and this woman was so in love. And she, I guess because she was very dutiful and did what she had to do, what was required of her to do. She was a big on duty. So he just assumed that she just created love in her heart for him when he was just a drunk and a womanizer. The same reason why Cersei did not feel the type of way she felt about him is the same reason. Like, come on now, that, like, it's all connected. It's all connected. That you didn't change. You was that same man. And then you, like, when you watch the show, you really be thinking in your mind like, oh, he's giving Cersei a whole different type of man. Whole time, no. You was giving the same man that you giving to Cersei is the same man you was giving to Lyanna, and that's why you ended up in a situation that you ended up in. Point blank, period. And you're so delusional that you can't wrap around your mind that a woman may not want you. And that's how it was back then. Very delulu. He couldn't see that. And the thing is, I really thought that, he just turned. I don't know why. I got that magical thinking, y'all. I don't know why, but I just thought that he just turned into this drunk and like fighting. And the person that he became in his old age, I just thought that that's who he turned into because they stole the love of his life. Whole time, it wasn't the love of his life. The girl didn't really like him like that. He was just so delusional and stuck on his position of power because he was a sword fighter and great at this this and fighting and da 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 da. He just felt like, oh, this girl loved me because, like, I didn't never in my mind, and they didn't think that, I didn't think that, never in my mind did I wrap my head around, oh, she may not have loved him back. I just assumed because he said it was true. Whole time, it's not true. There was three sides to every story, and like at this point, the person, the real love of her life, was who it was. And then I'm glad she didn't say anything. I'm glad that Ned Stark did raise Jon Snow, and not knowing the true name and all of that. You know, I'm glad that they kept it on the low, because like he wanted to protect his nephew.
Your bastard's mother. Wyler. That's it. She must have been a rare wench to make Lord Eddard Stark forget his honour. You never told me what she looked like. No, will I?
And you know what I'm saying? I understood that. I definitely understood that. It's just, it was giving weird energy. Okay, weird energy because Jon Snow and the Targaryen girl, you know what I'm saying? Her, like, it's the like, oh my God. Them, not marriage, but doing it to each other when they, nephew and, like, that's his auntie. It's just, but, you know, that's what was regular back then, I guess. That's what they did. And it wasn't frowned upon. And everybody was doing, like, sisters and brothers was been to doing it up in this show. So I guess, and when I first saw it, child, I was, like, taken aback, like, whoop, I know these sisters and brothers ain't doing this, but I guess that's what they doing. Child, but I wanted to talk about Robert and how Robert is like the character that you will never ever see coming, because he's full of lies, guys. He's full of lies. Okay, he would have really have everybody over here thinking that is this and it's not that. He is the most delulu character, the most delusional character in all of the series. He is very delusional. We will crown him as the most delusional and underrated and unexpected character of the series, point blank period. You just do not expect the angle in which he took. I didn't expect her to not feel the same way about him. I don't know, y'all, but that's all I gotta say about Robert Baratheon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye-bye.
Smith, warrior, mother, maiden, crone, stranger. I am hers, and she is mine, from this day until the end of my days. Robert's rebellion was built on a lie. Rhaegar didn't kidnap my aunt or rape her. He loved